You might have seen this earlier this week. Thick fog was a factor in a deadly crash that shut down a stretch of Interstate 5 in Oregon on Wednesday. One person was killed, 4 hospitalized.
The Oregon State Police now say they may never know the exact number of vehicles involved, but the estimate as it stands right now, 65.
Yeah, and weather definitely a factor in here. In fact, fall is the foggiest time of the year, and that is not only a hazard that a lot of drivers face out there.
It's not. So to add to that, drivers are already contending with some snow on the roads in places. And I saw even some smoke in Missouri yesterday for some brush fires.
Yeah, so we invited Joey Felix from West Metro Driving School to join us here and help us make sure that we all know what to do when kind of weather starts to dish out interesting things this time of the year on the road. Thanks for joining us. Let's talk about the video we just saw with fog here. It can be very scary because simply you cannot see what's in front of you. So how do you safely navigate the roads when you have like a layer of fog coming in and obscuring maybe, maybe 10 or 20 feet in front of you?
Yes, fog is very dangerous, especially for younger drivers who are very inexperienced. The first thing is make sure you have your low beams on and your fog lamps. If your high beams are on, turn those off because that's just going to cause a glare with the fog. The lights are actually more for people to see you than for you to see. That's where your fog lights come in, allows you to see the immediate concrete in front of you. The other thing is focus on the white line on the side of the road because that's going to be your best guide in fog.
And not to mention, sometimes you can't see what's beyond the fog, and deer are very active this time of year as well. Something else that goes in with fall is the leaves. We love them. They look so beautiful, but driving on them, especially mixed with rain, can be extra dangerous.
Yes, many people don't realize it, but wet leaves are just as dangerous as driving on ice. So obviously, you want to slow down your vehicle, avoid hard braking. If you need to stop, the first thing you do is let your foot off the accelerator, press your brake gently and slowly. If you happen to begin to slide, you want to turn the wheel in the direction you want your car to go in order to avoid a spin out and things like that.
And this time of the year, we're starting to see a lot of people seeing their first freezes and also first snowfall events. And it might surprise drivers that it doesn't take a whole lot of snow to really make things kind of deadly and treacherous on the roads.
No, it doesn't. I think a lot of it with slush build up from vehicles and then it freezes. Again, we use what we call the 10-10 rule. Slow your car down at least 10 miles under the speed limit or your current speed. Keep an extra 10 yards of distance between you and the vehicle in front of you. This way you have time to react if anything does occur.
And we started off this segment, of course, looking at the video from Oregon and the big pileup. And no matter what the conditions are, sometimes you can find yourself in a chain pileup like that. So what is the best thing to do, not to avoid it, but if you find yourself in it, what do you need to do?
If you're in a chain reaction accident, the first thing you want to do is remain in your vehicle if it is safe, because that is going to be providing you the most protection in that type of situation, because you don't know what's going on behind you, so you want to assume obviously the worst. Wait for help to arrive. If the situation calls for you to get out of your vehicle, wait until you think it is absolutely safe, and then head towards the front of the crash where there's less likely to be any moving vehicles, get behind guide rails, things like that.
And despite the fact that we're here, we have the Weather Channel, we always tell people the weather. People always get stuck in weather, unprepared. So what are some of the key essentials that people need to have in the car if perhaps changing weather is coming in their way, or perhaps they're on a road trip and they might encounter changing weather along the route?
I know living in an area like Atlanta, you definitely don't think about that. I'm from the north, so snow is typical. You want to keep a blanket in your car, some snacks, hand warmers. Try to keep your tank as full as you can, because if you're stuck in the weather, as we were here in Atlanta not too long ago, several years ago, you don't know how long it's going to be before you get moving, so you want to make sure you can keep your heater running to keep warm, things like that.
And the key is not eating those snacks before you find yourself stuck on the side of the road. All right, Joey Felix, thank you so much for your time this morning. Good tips there that we can use not only in the fall, but also the winter time. It's coming. But
also just be weather aware. I had no idea the weather was going to, and yeah, they get caught.
And then it catches you off guard. All right. Well, Lynette,